Hello and welcome, and thank you for your interest in the IHE Pathology and Laboratory Medicine Domain Update webinar today. I am Mary Kennedy, Director of Clinical Informatics Initiatives at the College of American Pathologists and the Primary Secretariat to the IHE Pathology and Laboratory Medicine Domain. Our speakers today are Riki Merrick and Raj Dash. Riki is a co-chair of IHE Pathology and Laboratory Domain, which is also known as PaLM. She is a licensed physician in Germany, received her Master in Public Health from the University of California, Davis, when she started working on HL7 LOINC and SNOMED. For 9 years, she was a consultant for the Association of Public Health Laboratories and is now serving as Staff Informatics Program's lead terminologist, providing implementation assistance for electronic data exchange for influenza surveillance, lab reporting, and case notification initiatives. She also worked with NIST on the development of test cases for lab-related message validation tools. She participates in several national vocabulary harmonization projects in the laboratory and public health domains, in leadership roles in HL7 Orders and Observations Working Group, in the Lab Messaging Community of Practice, as well as the laboratory-related S&I framework initiatives. Raj Dash is also a co-chair of the IHE Pathology and Laboratory Domain. He is a pathologist at Duke University with specialty boards in cytopathology and clinical informatics. He currently serves as the Beaker Physician Champion and the Medical Director for Laboratory Information Systems, as well as the Director for Laboratory Information Strategy for Duke Health Systems. He served as Chair of the International Pathology and Laboratory Medicine Working Group within SNOMED International and currently participates in the ONC Laboratory Reporting Tiger Team. He is active on a number of national committees serving the College of American Pathologists, including the Informatics Committee and the Board of Governors. I would now like to turn the webinar over to Riki.
Thank you so much, Mary. And can I have the next slide to give an overview of the topics for this webinar, please? So I'm going to give a brief introduction to IHE and with a link to where you can find more information about IHE in general, and then focus, of course, on the pathology and laboratory medicine domain, or PaLM for short, and its mission and scope. I'm going to give a summary of all the integration profiles that fall under our domain, and then we're going to spend some time highlighting the new trial implementation profiles of the Anatomic Pathology Structure Report, a laboratory clinical communication profile, and the transfusion medicine administration profile. And we also would like to draw your attention to some current projects where we could use more input and help from stakeholders, which is the specimen event tracking work, as well as the digital pathology work, which we do in collaboration with DICOM Working Group 26 to update the anatomic pathology workflow, which is one of our existing integration profiles. Next slide. So why would you use IHE? Well, you have plenty of international standards, and I've copied and pasted a couple of them here, but they are covering different parts of the picture. And so if you want to implement for specific situation, for specific use cases, IHE helps provide those profiles by putting all these standards that are out there together for the best use. Next, click next. So that's basically how IHE works. It's the combiner to hopefully hit the target. And for a good introduction on other IHE processes, there's a link to YouTube. Next slide. IHE International was founded as a cooperation between HIMSS and the National Radiology Association in 1998. And has expanded domains ever since. Laboratory started in 2004, pathology in 2006. And if you click one more time, since 2016, we are PaLM because we combined the two together. Next slide. IHE, one of the important things of IHE is that it provides connectathons, which actually provides testing sessions for the different IT vendors to test the profiles they're implementing. And this slide gives you some information on the next states for the pathology and laboratory domain and other connectathons. So in Japan, in the US, and in Europe. Next slide. So why you're all here today is to find out more about the pathology and laboratory medicine scope. And we are basically covering the representation and exchange of digital documents, structured data, and images associated with any service performed by a clinical laboratory or a pathology laboratory on in vitro specimens collected from a patient or non-living material. And it includes analytical and peri-analytical automated devices and representation and exchange for structured data related to specimen management and long-term storage, for instance, in biobank. It also includes the secondary use of in vitro diagnostic observations and related clinical observations, and the exchange around transfusion medicine and blood product receivers. And there's a footnote that describes all laboratory specialties covered by the domain. Next slide. This is a list of all the IT systems and scope, and I'm not going to read them all, but you'll find pretty much any IT system you can find in the laboratory arena represented here. Some for processing of specimens, some for automation of labeling, and obviously some for patient care and information storage. Next slide. So these are the current integration profiles of the PaLM domain. There's, of course, the technical framework, so that's the final text with several different volumes. Volume 1 always covers the profiles and use cases, and the profiles listed here is for the laboratory testing workflow, which is inside a hospital when you're ordering lab tests and get results back. There's the laboratory device automation, which covers processing of samples. There's the laboratory analytical workflow, which covers the automation of the testing of the specimen itself from an analyzer to the laboratory information system. There's laboratory point of care testing, which is, you could think of as bedside testing, so it's laboratory tests done outside the laboratory. There's the laboratory code set distribution profile, which deals with sharing, where the laboratory can share all the lists of tests that they are performing. And then they're sharing laboratory reports, also known as XDLab, which is CDA based. So all these other profiles are HL7 version 2 based. XDLab is CDA based, and it's for sharing the reports from the laboratory back to the providers and potentially also to public health and other secondary users. Volume 2A, B, and C cover the transactions for the respective profiles. Volume 2X is the appendices, that's common material for all the transactions. And volume 3 is the content module, which is, in our case, covers mostly XDLab. So the IHE PaLM 9th version is was sent to publishing on the 21st. I haven't seen the announcement come out, but it should come out momentarily. So it's brand new and fresh.